Mark, today we're going to take a deeper dive into father wounds and talk about what it looks like and what the symptoms are. Well, welcome to Breaking Biscuits, the experience. Mark, last week we kind of started, not a new subject, but we kind of started to dive into father wounds. And today we want to continue with that thought process, but kind of specifically talk more about maybe what it looks like and what some of the symptoms are. And we talked a little bit about some of those symptoms last week, but there's so much here. It's such a deep subject, and maybe just to start out with and refresh. Like when I say father wounds, what do you think of? How would you describe that?
I would think we talked about either having an absent father, obviously that's a given, having an abusive father, or just having a father that's present in certain areas. Some areas he's present, some areas he's not. You and I talk all the time, but it feels like, and the guys that we coach, we can always trace it back to some kind of family dynamic, almost every time. But we try to help these guys see and realize that that's what was modeled to their fathers, their grandfathers, and their great-great-grandfathers modeled it to them. So he can have a little grace. So it's the we talked about that last week, the absent father. The fatherlessness in our country is 1 in 4. But then you and I talked about, what about the abusive father that's in the home that's really, really frustrated with his own self and don't know how to overcome, and then there's the father that's present but only in moments, only when it goes his way. I guess that's something. I don't know.
Well, I think
it's something you can relate to.
Yeah, I think so, because the reality is we all have deficiencies, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a father as well. So even raising my children, there are deficiencies in how I parented and how I fathered. And so those parts that are deficient get transferred or could get transferred. And just not having an awareness of that can be a bit detrimental. And like in my own experience, like I had an amazing father. Many people probably watching this knew my father.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't want a different father in any shape, way, or form. But even him, because of what he went through as a child and how he was raised, and it forced him to kind of be very performance based, in the sense of, hard work was everything, and that was the priority. And so that's great for your business life, but it's not real great for relationships if that's the priority. So it's like finding that balance. And so I almost systemically learned this, which is one of the behavioral symptoms, is a performance-based life, trying to earn approval through achievements or actions, and it's very subtle. And I'll give you an example. Say you're a father, and you ask your son to go mow the yard, and they get done mowing the yard, and they do an amazing job, and they come in, and you just praise them and say, "Man, you mow that's the best yard cut I've ever seen. The grass looks better than it's ever looked. You did an amazing job, and I just want you to know how much I love you." Like right after that, immediately the child equates, "Oh, if I perform, I know the yard really well, my dad loves me more." What if you just walked up to your son one day and said, "Hey, I just want you to know I love you for who you are and the way you are." Like, it's in reality is you do both, But what happens is in a performance-based living and performance-based environment, you typically put an emphasis on the performance and you tie love to that. And so the individual ends up growing up thinking the better I perform, the more love that I get. And that's the motive. By the way, business folks that are listening to this, many business guys are this way. They are driven for acceptance and love. And
so they traded their father's acceptance to the CEO or the whatever, the organization or whatever, the praise of everyone else.
Yeah, I think so, because they never felt fully accepted in their own skin of who they were as a person. So you end up trying to be the person you think everybody else wants you to be.
And it's funny because we go, man, you're a great salesman, you're a great businessman, you're a great whatever. And the reality is you're a great performer out of a wound that you can't get out of.
Yeah, and it can be a subtle wound. I mean, if you had like no father at all, it's hard for me to relate, but imagine what that would be like. You have no sense of direction or identity or affirmation, and you're like trying to build it on your own. And I just think it would be very, very difficult. But I think performance, like perfectionism, perfectionism is tied to this in a way where, people that, and businessmen are very perfectionism driven because they want to perform. And there's nothing wrong with performance. And when you fly, you get on an airplane, fly somewhere, you want a perfect aircraft. So it's not like an evil bad thing. It's just, it's like if it's your normal mode of operating, is it the thing that drives you? I think it's the lack of balance that comes.
But we always, in my world, I try to get people to see that the perfection is good, but the underlying current is I fear failing.
Yeah, that's good.
I let myself down, or even the distant voice of my father, or I'm going to prove him wrong. He abandoned me, and screw him, I'm going to prove it. So it gets out of balance, but it gets hidden under this performance. I see that a lot.
Well, even like your spiritual background, it's very performance-based driven, right?
Could be, very well. It really is, yeah. But yeah.
I mean, if you're like, knock it out of the park on a Sunday morning, then you're going to feel better about yourself, kind of thing.
Yeah, and in the spiritual arena where I come from, most of the men are still around, they're present, and they set a standard of performance that you have to measure yourself by. But I also want to say that I want to throw this in for the women. You said fathers praise them for mowing the grass, praise them for the things they do. And oh my God, if your son went out and initiated something on his own, you'd blow your mind,
True.
Hey, Dad, you didn't tell me to, but I raked up all the leaves because it just needed done. You would lose your mind. Buy him a brand new car or something.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's the same. It's the same effect when we praise our daughters and little girls for their beauty.
Mm-hmm.
And we should praise them for their character. Because the beauty's, it's going to fade. It's not going to be the same. People aren't going to treat you. I do these, I have a sign company and I print all these posters for beauty pageants all over the United States. And it makes me sad because I know in 10 years, they're not going to be on these posters.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder, where's their identity going to be? When all along it could have been. So it should be praise your daughters for their character, for their mind, for how kind they are, not the outward.
Right.
And I think that's good advice for fathers and mothers, to learn how to praise your children for their character, their qualities, because they're in control of that. They're not in control of, but it's a subtle form of what we do, what fathers do to their sons in performance, when they could have said, instead of saying, man, you mowed the best yard on the planet, I can't believe you. What they could have said is, I really appreciate your diligence.
Right.
I appreciate your, something to do with, tie it into their character. I appreciate that it meant a lot to you because it meant a lot to me. I don't know if that makes sense, but
100%. Yeah, because that's something you take with you the rest of your life. That is your legacy, is your character, and what's on the inside of you. So you're saying, like, to repeat it back to you, you're saying we have a tendency with the children that are females, the girls, to talk about the outwardness, but then the men or the boys, we talk about what they do.
that's the outwardness. It's a different version of outwardness.
Version of it. I think that makes a lot of sense, and this is imprinting us into who we are as adults, and then we end up doing this with our own children, right? And it just repeats the cycle and repeats itself. And some of that within itself doesn't sound, terribly wrong or bad, but yet we fall so short because all these other things come with it. We got a whole long list here of them, Mark, that are symptoms of father wounds. And
I did go to the OU game last weekend or weekend before. My days run together, and we went to the OU cheer. They do a little demonstration before the game, which is amazing. But it happened to be the cheer alumni group. They were there too. And I told Kelly, I said, I can tell you this, cheerleaders never die. They were still in, you could tell how much work they put into of the outward appearance of their life. It was astronomical. And so I asked her, I said, well, I told my wife, what do you think if there's alumni cheerleader person at OU and they don't weigh 125 pounds? Do they even come to this event? It just speaks to our culture. Like we praise the outward so much. We focus on the outward. And in men, we focus on what you made, what you gained, who you're connected to, and how well you did. And the women is like how pretty you are and how skinny you stay. And we're missing the whole thing. I really don't like it. And we always tell people, it almost looked like the alumni cheerleader moms, which is great. They had a great time and they did a great job. I just want them to enjoy it for the right reason. But we always talk about moms and dad that live vicariously through their sons because they didn't want to die.
Yeah, that's actually very common. I saw it a lot in sports.
Yeah.
The dad that thought he was going to make it but didn't, so he's going to do it to his son. And thank God my father wasn't like that. But man, when you see it, it's appalling. Like you feel the pressure. I coached, so you coached as well, your kids' teams, and you see it in parents, and it's just, you just know, like on the inside, the kid's dying, but he's trying to. It goes back to the same thing, Mark. He's just trying to make his father happy. He's trying to be accepted. He just wants his father to say, "Well done, thy good and faithful son," and it's just. It's sad that's
And it's a fine line, because I always wanted my sons to play the sports because they're great at it, but I wanted them to enjoy it and do it for their own reasons. But at the same time, they get confused as to what the reasons are.
Yeah. But that's what a good father does, isn't it? It's like he keeps us centered, keeps us grounded in the right things in life. Like he can help us direct where our attention should be, our focus should be, and then speaking, to your point, speaking the right things into our life to mold us into what we're supposed to be as an adult. But what if we're an adult and we find ourselves living this performance-based living, we called it, like we have this particular symptom? How would you look at it? How would you trace it back? How would you get an awareness of that?
I have some friends, and they're in performance based, but that's part of their job, you know. But somehow, some way in my mind, I feel like they're wanting to be in control. They don't want to fear. They don't want to fail. They fear failure, and they want to be in control. And as long as I'm out in front of everything, that's performance based to me. And I was just sitting here thinking, you know, your dad was an amazing human, and he wanted to be a great businessman, and he was in a lot of ways. But I'm assuming that he really was proud of you for your business accolades, and he should be. But I know him. That wasn't his only reason. But it happens to all of us.
Yeah.
And I'm learning that fathers give their children their identity, and they model it to them who they're going to be.
I want to zero in on something you said, because it really resonated with me. You talked about they want to be in control, and I thought, well, why? Because I have those tendencies. Like I like being in control of my life. I like being in control of my circumstances. I like being in control in the business world. Like I feel like I can map out my own destiny. It doesn't work well, but I still like it. Yeah. But why? And what resonates with me is it makes me feel safe. And so think about like what we've been talking about in these podcasts. A lot of this journey, Mark, is we're looking for a safe place, whether it's being vulnerable, whether it's being in control, whether it's being performance-based driven to get a certain result. We're all looking for a place of safety and peace. Like we're wanting a place to be accepted, wanting a place to be loved, a place to be ourselves. And that place, wherever it is, to us is safety and peaceful. And it's like we grab it and it slips through our fingertips and through our hands, and we have a hard time really living that out in our life. It really resonated with me about the need to feel safe.
Yeah. That's why you control everything, to be safe and to be in control of the variance, the outcomes, measure the possibility of failure, minimize it. But it's kind of sad, because the truth is no one knows you outside of what you do. They don't know who you are. They know how well you do what you do.
Right.
And that's pretty unfair. And I think at the core of everyone's being, you told me 28 years ago, everyone wants to be fully known and fully loved. I'd never forgot it. I'll never forget it. And it wound up being like the mantra of my life, because it was true. And to be fully known is I have to expose some areas. And you and I are talking about this this thing, but we're older now, so we can see it. But when you're in your 40s, you probably listen to this podcast thinking these guys are loony. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like I'm on top of it and I'm killing it. But take it from 24 years down the road. You have to take evaluation. Are you performing, or are you just flowing in what comes from you? Who are you trying to impress is the real question. What are you trying to prove?
Or what are you trying to become?
Yeah.
Like, what's the goal? And it is a delicate balance, I think. But I mean, it's an inward reflection. And I know that, well, let me say it this way. If you're truly performance-based, you're not vulnerable.
Nah.
You don't have a vulnerable, transparent life.
Well, that destroys the performance.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're going to show your accomplishments. You know, how do you do that? Well, look at the car I drive. Look at the house I live in. It's look at where I went on vacation.
Yeah.
That's your
or look at my Facebook. Is what you're saying.
Yeah, nowadays it's look at my Facebook. Exactly.
I call it fake book.
Fake book, yeah. But if we could ever find that place of vulnerability, of peace and trust, you might still do all those things.
Yeah.
But they're not at the top. They're not important.
It's not an identity crisis issue, really.
Yeah. You're not driven by those things.
So let me ask you this question. What if you have the performance-based modeling, but you continually fall short and you can't get it done? Obviously, that's not going to go well for you with your father.
No, it's going to create, what it'll do is lead to other.
So you're going to the other side of the coin.
Yeah, you're going to go.
Which leads to one of the points we talked about was this father wound can lead to addictive tendencies. But that's because I never measured. Speak to that. I never measured to what my father wanted me to be. Holy cow, that just came to me.
Yeah, if you can't perform at the level of pressure, of expectation of the father wound, like the father says, puts pressure on you, or they're absent or whatever, you just don't feel like you've ever earned that approval. I think addictive tendencies are woven in naturally because you're going to compensate. You feel the pain, there's a void and an emptiness, and that's what addiction is. Addiction is just simply a mask of pain. It doesn't matter what behavior it is, it's always the same thing. You're masking pain. And that hole has to be filled with something. And then that's where the cycle starts, right?
The shame. You're describing shame to a T.
Absolutely.
But the other guy that's performing is in shame too, because if he fails, it's over.
Well, yeah, performance can be an addiction. I mean, 100%. And yeah, the moment you fail, shame is there. It's a great point. I agree.
But the key is really the father's response. And we have a story in Luke 15, you know, the son that we call him prodigal son, he wasn't really prodigal. It was a divine appointment. But the father embraced him in his mess and called him son. And that word, you are my son who's lost and now found. What he's saying is, I don't give two rips what you did. I embrace you for who you are.
That's it.
And that erases multitudes of shame instantly.
We're so focused, Mark, on the behavior side opposed to the heart side. I want to ask you this as we kind of start. It's hard to believe we're already starting to wind down here. How, like what we're talking about today, performance and control and addiction, like from your coaching experience, how does that impact marriages and relationships?
What I see is the man that has father wounds is so unhappy with himself, and he takes it out on everyone around him.
Yeah.
And what I do in the coaching is say, why? Where did this come from? I know you love your family. So why? And so it's just a journey of rewinding where this frustration came from. And honestly, the performance parent is really rough because no one can measure up. And they're always feeling like they're, dad's walking around with a ruler, trying to measure, like, you're not doing what I say, you're not. But there's no grace mixed with it. It's all about awareness, really, and deciding and looking at yourself and deciding. Because most men that are in anger, they don't see themselves. They're just seeing what's not happening in their life that they want to happen because that's how they were raised.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, Toby, just saying that'll never happen to me and never going to be the solution to not becoming who you were raised by and how you were modeled. That's not work. Because you tend to always become what you hate if you fight against it.
Exactly what you've been talking about is really what we do at Breaking Biscuits, the event or the experience rather, in Branson, Missouri. And we've got one coming up scheduled. It's January 22nd through the 25th. And just if you could just take a moment and tell our audience, those that, why someone would want to go to this Breaking Biscuits event, what their expectations would be to get out of it, and then maybe what they need to do to find out more information.
Well, you're gonna find tools, and you're gonna be with people of like mind. You're gonna realize that other families and couples are in the same boat as you, and you're gonna learn to navigate communicating things in your life. Most important thing is you're gonna fall in love with yourself and your spouse all over again. And what I love the most is when we check out on Sunday, there's a father experience that I've never seen ever in my life. And it's just so powerful and impactful. The whole part of it, the whole experience of it. We always call it like a marriage thing, but what it is you leave loving yourself and knowing yourself, loving God, loving yourself, Him more, and the marriage and your wife is the fruit of, fixing you. Like, it's not only focused on marriage, it's focused on those three things. And you and I both know when you go through the pit with people in the same way, you have a different kind of friendship, and you're going to walk out of there with 4 couples that are friends forever.
100%. Yeah.
And that's really what we need.
Yeah, and it's on our heart to do this. If you go to our website, breakingbiscuits.com, there's a testimony page, and just watch some of the videos of we tape those immediately after the last session. And we know these couples, and they're all doing well. Mm-hmm. And there's miracle stories here. I mean, people, Mark, came in with no hope, and they're doing great today.
Yeah.
So I just would encourage people. Here's the thing: we only have 5 slots. It's a multifamily, beautiful location in Branson, right on the lake. We pick it specifically for this reason, but we only have 5 slots. So if you have interest, what do they need to do to actually show us that they're interested in attending?
Well, if you go to the website, there will be a pop-up that says, tell me more information. So you put your information in, your email, phone number, and things. And when you click send, it's going to go to one of us, and we're going to be able to contact you back personally and tell you where we're at with the cost and how to make a deposit. And it's just super hard to I hate to say it again, but sound like a broken record, but what you're going to get out of this would be like me trying to tell you what water tastes like, and I can't.
Yeah.
But trust me, it's going to be very safe, very heartfelt, and you're going to feel love and accepted in such a way in your mess that you never have in your life. And that's what I walked away with. That's what I walk away with is, wow, I finally have a place to unwrap myself and no one judges me.
Right.
Because we're all in the same boat.
Yeah, we've we've been there, right?
Yes.
No, we just encourage you to reach out. We'd like to get the slots filled as soon as possible so we can plan the next one. Because we don't do them unless we get a full house, so to speak. And it's so life-changing. We do this because we want to make a difference, and we want to help. We've been there, and we just want to help people. So if you're listening to this and you have any inclination this might be something that you'd like to explore, please reach out to us. And if they want to, Mark, they could even message us on Facebook and say, hey, send me some more information.
Or YouTube or Breaking Biscuits page, whatever.
Yeah, just however you want to reach out. We'll get you the costs and answer any questions that you might have. There's a FAQ page on the website. So if you just read through those questions, it'll tell you a lot that you would need to know about the program. Everything's covered in the cost to participate, other than one meal. But all the meals are covered, lodging's covered. So everything, all you have to do is just show up, and we'll take care of you, and we'll treat you with love and care. But we're also going to push you to a new place, and you're gonna be a changed person when you leave.
But you're gonna kind of enjoy it after the first day. You're gonna feel relieved. What I saw was relief.
Yeah. And there's no safer place. That is our number one priority, is to create a safe environment. And neither you or I would participate if it wasn't safe. It's got to be safe.
Oh, yeah.
And because it's the whole key of what we've been talking about. That's what we're all looking for, is that safe place to be vulnerable, to share, and to learn, and to unwrap, and to Breaking Biscuits. It's called Breaking Biscuits for a reason. And if you attend, you will know exactly why it's called Breaking Biscuits.
Yes, you will. But you got to attend.
You have to attend. I'm excited about it. January is not that far away, so we look forward to people reaching out and dropping us a line.
And really, honestly, we're here today because we are wanting to make a difference, and we're wanting to help, obviously, younger couples and be a voice that we needed in our life, but never had. That's why we do this. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of everything. But
and Mark, I want to say,
go ahead.
I want to say this, because you never know who's listening. Whether you're a CEO of a multi-billion-dollar company, or you're a pastor of a national ministry, or pastor of a big church, honestly, you're a great candidate. Because, I come from the business world. I'm going to relate to you. Mark, you come from the church world. You're going to relate to anybody that walks in those doors, if that's their vocation. I'm going to understand the business community. And
Mhm.
anything in between that, we're going to connect with. So as facilitators, we know how to connect with people at all different levels of life. And that's so important in an environment like this.
True. Just click on and get information. And also, Toby, I want to remind everyone, if you still follow this podcast, share it. I mean, it helps spread the word when you share it to your page. The views go up a lot if you share it. But if you love it, comment it. Tell us when you watch, or where you're from, or if you have any questions. We just don't want to be talking into space. But we feel like we've been to some places and God's really put it on our heart to do this, and it's been successful.
Well, Mark, our time is up, and we barely scratched the surface today. Barely scratched the surface, but we'll be back on next week. But until then, we love you. Hang in there, you guys. Men, you've got this.
Yeah, you
Find that 911 brother.
Yes.
Find that small group. Be vulnerable. Make a choice. You're going to walk through those uncomfortable feelings so that you can have the breakthrough that you deserve in your life.
Right.
And until next time, this is Breaking Biscuits. Love you, and we'll see you.
Love you.